Elderly cat faces euthanasia in a shelter cage. What happens next will leave you speechless. The rusty hinges of the carrier creaked open, releasing Oliver into the sterile confines of the shelter cage. He blinked, his aged green eyes struggling to adjust to the fluorescent lights that hummed overhead, casting a harsh glare on the cold metal bars that surrounded him. The cacophony of barks, meows, and the occasional squawk assaulted his sensitive ears, a stark contrast to the quiet tranquility of the home he had known for the past 15 years. Oliver, a Maine Coon cat with a coat as thick and gray as a winter storm cloud, was a creature of habit and comfort. He had spent his life nestled in sunbeams, curled up on laps, and purring contentedly beside his beloved human companion, Mrs. Eleanor Winters. But Mrs. Winters had brought him to the Green Mountain Animal Shelter, their tearful goodbyes a symphony of sorrow that echoed the confusion and grief that now gripped his feline heart. He huddled in the corner of the cage, his once proud form now shrunken with age and anxiety, his long fur matted and dull, his whiskers drooping with a sadness that mirrored the despair he felt. The shelter, a cacophony of unfamiliar scents and sounds, was a far cry from the cozy comforts of his former home. The barking dogs, their voices a relentless chorus of anxiety and frustration. He longed for the soft warmth of Mrs. Winters' lap, the gentle stroke of her hand on his fur, the soothing sound of her voice as she read aloud from her favorite books. He missed the familiar scent of her home, the comforting routine of their days, the love that had been the anchor of his existence. But now he was alone, adrift in a sea of unfamiliar faces and unsettling sounds, his future uncertain, his heart heavy with the weight of loss and the fear of the unknown. He closed his eyes, his whiskers twitching with anxiety, his purrs a distant memory in the cacophony of the shelter, his spirit yearning for the comfort and love that had been so abruptly taken from him. The Green Mountain Animal Shelter, nestled amidst the rolling hills of Vermont, was a haven for lost and abandoned animals, a testament to the compassion of a small community dedicated to providing care and shelter to creatures in need. Its walls, painted in cheerful hues of yellow and blue, belied the sadness that often lingered within its confines, the stories of neglect and abandonment etched in the eyes of its temporary residents. The staff, a dedicated group of animal lovers, worked tirelessly to provide for their charges, their days filled with the tasks of feeding, cleaning, and comforting the animals that had found refuge within the shelter's walls. They cleaned cages, administered medication, and offered words of comfort to the anxious creatures, their voices a soothing balm in the midst of uncertainty. They organized adoption events, their hopes pinned on finding loving homes for their furry and feathered friends, their hearts aching with each passing day that an animal remained unclaimed, the reality of limited space and resources a constant reminder of the difficult decisions they sometimes had to face. The shelter's manager, a kind woman named Sarah with a heart as big as the Vermont sky, carried the weight of responsibility for the shelter's inhabitants, her every decision guided by a deep compassion for the animals and a commitment to their well-being. She had dedicated her life to this cause, her passion for animal welfare a beacon of hope in a world often marred by cruelty and indifference. She had witnessed countless stories of heartbreak and resilience, her heart aching for the animals that had been abandoned, abused, and forgotten. But she had also witnessed the transformative power of love and compassion, the way a gentle touch and a kind word could rekindle a spark of hope in the eyes of a creature that had lost its way. She walked through the kennels, her presence a calming influence on the anxious animals, her voice a soft reassurance in the cacophony of barks and meows. She paused by Oliver's cage, her eyes softening as she took in the sight of the elderly cat, his once proud form now shrunken with age and grief, his fur matted and dull, his whiskers drooping with sadness. She knew that Oliver's chances of adoption were slim, their eyes often drawn to the playful puppies and energetic kittens that filled the other cages. She felt a pang of sympathy for the old cat, his story a familiar one in the shelter world, his fate uncertain in the face of limited resources and the ever-present threat of euthanasia. She reached out, her hand gently stroking his fur, her voice a soft murmur of comfort. "Don't worry, old friend," she whispered, her words carrying a sincerity that transcended the boundaries of language. "We'll find you a home. We'll find someone who will love you." But even as she spoke, her heart heavy with the knowledge of the challenges they faced, she knew that Oliver's future was uncertain, his fate hanging precariously in the balance, his life a testament to the fragility of existence and the enduring power of hope in the face of adversity. The days turned into weeks, the shelter's rhythm a constant hum of activity and emotion. New animals arrived, their stories echoing the familiar themes of abandonment, neglect, and the unpredictable turns of fate. Adoptions brought moments of joy, the sight of a creature finding a loving home a balm to the hearts of the shelter staff. But for Oliver, time seemed to stand still. He remained in his cage, his world confined to the cold metal bars and the sterile surroundings. His once vibrant spirit dimmed, his movements slow and deliberate, his eyes reflecting a quiet resignation to his fate. The shelter staff, their hearts aching for the elderly cat, did their best to provide him with comfort and care. They cleaned his cage meticulously, ensuring his space was clean and fresh. They offered him soft blankets and toys, hoping to spark a flicker of his playful spirit. They spoke to him with gentle voices, their words carrying a warmth that sought to penetrate the loneliness that enveloped him. They would often find him curled up in a ball, his eyes closed, his purrs a distant memory, his presence a poignant reminder of the countless animals that had passed through the shelter's doors, their fates uncertain, their futures hanging in the balance. Sarah, her heart heavy with the knowledge of the shelter's limitations, watched Oliver's decline with a growing sense of dread. She knew that his chances of adoption were slim, his age and health issues a deterrent to potential families seeking a young and vibrant companion. She had tried everything she could think of to find him a home. She had featured him prominently in the adoption brochures, his photograph accompanied by a heartwarming description of his gentle nature and loving spirit. She had brought him to adoption events, hoping that someone would see past his age and recognize the wisdom and companionship he had to offer. But the response had been disheartening. People would pause by his cage, their eyes drawn to his majestic Maine Coon features, his long, flowing fur, his once vibrant green eyes. But their interest would quickly fade as they learned of his age, his health issues, his quiet demeanor. They would move on, their attention drawn to the playful kittens and energetic puppies, their hearts seeking a companion that mirrored their own vibrancy, their lives not yet touched by the wisdom and acceptance that came with age and experience. Sarah, her hope dwindling with each passing day, knew that she had to face the inevitable. She had to make a decision, a heartbreaking choice that echoed the harsh realities of the shelter world, a decision that would seal Oliver's fate. Her voice heavy with the weight of the announcement she had to make. The staff, their faces reflecting her own sadness, gathered around the table, their hearts heavy with the knowledge of the decision that lay before them. Sarah, her voice trembling with emotion, explained the situation, her words painting a grim picture of the shelter's limited resources, the growing number of animals in their care, the heartbreaking reality of euthanasia for those deemed unadoptable. She spoke of Oliver, his gentle spirit, his quiet dignity, his dwindling chances of finding a loving home. She explained that the time had come to make a decision, a choice that would end his suffering, a final act of compassion for a creature that had graced their lives with his presence. The staff, their hearts aching, their eyes filled with tears, nodded in agreement, their silence a testament to the shared burden they carried, the difficult decisions they had to make in the face of the shelter's limitations. And as the meeting ended, a somber silence settled over the shelter, the weight of their decision casting a long shadow over Oliver's cage, his fate sealed, his future uncertain, his life a testament to the fragility of it. Was pinned to his cage, a silent decree that cast a shadow over his remaining days. He watched the comings and goings of the shelter with a detached curiosity, his once vibrant green eyes now clouded with a weary acceptance. The playful antics of the kittens, the boisterous barks of the puppies, the hopeful meows of the younger cats. They all seemed a distant echo in the quiet solitude of his cage. He had seen this before, the arrival of the white sheet, the finality it represented. He had witnessed countless companions vanish behind the closed doors of the treatment room, their farewell meows and whimpers a haunting reminder of the shelter's harsh reality. He had lived a long life, his years filled with the warmth of companionship and the simple joys of a loving home. He had purred contentedly on laps, chased sunbeams across carpeted floors, and delighted in the gentle strokes of his beloved human. But now, his time was drawing near, his aged body a testament to the inevitable cycle of life and death, his spirit weary from the loss of his home and the uncertainty of his future. He accepted his fate with a quiet dignity, his movements slow and deliberate, his gaze a stoic acceptance of the inevitable. He spent his days curled up in his bed, his once luxurious fur now matted and dull, his purrs a faint rumble in the silence of his cage. He watched the faces of the visitors, their expressions a mix of pity and avoidance, their eyes drawn to the younger, more vibrant animals that held the promise of playful companionship and unconditional love. He understood their reluctance, their desire for a pet that mirrored their own energy and enthusiasm, their lives not yet touched by the wisdom and acceptance that came with age and experience. But one day, a new face appeared at his cage, a young woman with kind eyes and a gentle smile, her presence a breath of fresh air in the sterile environment of the shelter. She knelt beside his cage, her voice a soft melody in the cacophony of barks and meows, her words carrying a warmth that touched his weary heart. "Hello, Oliver," she said, her voice a gentle caress. "You seem a bit lonely here. Can I spend some time with you, Oliver?" His curiosity, piqued by her gentle demeanor and the genuine compassion in her eyes, lifted his head, his gaze meeting hers with a flicker of interest. He purred softly, a rusty sound that echoed through the quiet corner of the shelter, his gesture an invitation, a yearning for connection in the face of his impending isolation. The young woman, her name was Emily, a volunteer at the shelter with a heart as big as the Vermont sky, smiled warmly, her eyes reflecting a deep empathy for the creatures that had found refuge within the shelter's walls. She had a special affinity for the older animals, the ones often overlooked, their wisdom and gentle spirits a treasure trove of untold stories. She had noticed Oliver, his quiet dignity and resigned acceptance tugging at her heartstrings. She saw in him a reflection of her own grandfather, his weathered face and gentle eyes holding a lifetime of stories, his presence a comforting anchor in her world. She opened his cage, her movements gentle and reassuring, her voice a soft murmur as she spoke to him, her words carrying a warmth that soothed his anxiety. She gently stroked his fur, her touch a comforting presence, her presence a beacon of hope in the face of his uncertain future. And as she sat beside him, sharing stories of her life, her dreams, her love for animals, Oliver felt a spark of warmth ignite within him, a flicker of connection that rekindled a sense of hope in the face of the impending darkness. He purred louder, his rusty engine now a symphony of contentment, his eyes reflecting the gentle light of her presence, his heart filled with a gratitude that transcended the boundaries of language and species. He had found a friend, a kindred spirit, a glimmer of hope in the shadow of the shelter, a connection that would soon challenge the fate that awaited him and ignite a chain of events that would leave everyone speechless. Emily's presence became a beacon of light in the sterile confines of Oliver's cage. She would visit him every day, her gentle voice and soft touch a soothing balm to his weary soul. She would bring him treats, tempting his waning appetite with delicacies that reawakened his taste for life. She would brush his matted fur, her careful strokes restoring its luster, her touch a comforting reminder of the love and care he had once known. She would talk to him, sharing stories of her life, her dreams, her experiences, her voice a gentle melody in the cacophony of the shelter. Oliver, his heart warming with each visit, found himself drawn to her kindness and compassion. He would purr contentedly as she stroked his fur, his rusty engine now a symphony of gratitude and affection. He would follow her movements with his eyes, their faded green depths reflecting a spark of joy that had been absent for far too long. He would listen intently as she read to him, his ears twitching with each turn of the page, his mind conjuring images of the stories she shared, his spirit soaring with the characters and their journeys. Emily, sensing his love for stories, would often bring him new books, her selections ranging from classic literature to whimsical children's tales. She would describe the characters, their personalities, their struggles, their triumphs, her voice painting vivid pictures in Oliver's mind. He would purr louder, his body vibrating with contentment, his eyes sparkling with a newfound light, his spirit reawakened by the power of storytelling and the connection he felt with the young woman who had entered his life. One day, as Emily read to him from a collection of Edgar Allan Poe's poems, she noticed a peculiar reaction in Oliver. His fur bristled, his eyes widened, his purrs intensified, his body trembling with a mix of fear and fascination. She paused in her reading, her curiosity piqued by his unusual behavior. "What is it, Oliver?" she asked, her voice soft and soothing. "Does the story frighten you?" Oliver, unable to articulate his response, nuzzled her hand, his gesture a mix of reassurance and a plea for her to continue. Emily, intrigued by his reaction, resumed her reading, her voice now hushed and dramatic, her words painting vivid images of the macabre and the mysterious. Oliver, his body trembling but his eyes fixed on her face, listened intently, his purrs now a deep rumble that echoed through the quiet corner of the shelter. As she finished the poem, a sense of peace settled over him, his fear replaced by a quiet contentment, his eyes reflecting a deep understanding of the story's dark beauty. Emily, her intuition heightened by their shared experience, realized that Oliver, despite his age and his feline nature, possessed a depth of understanding, a sensitivity to the nuances of human emotion and storytelling that transcended the boundaries of species. She saw in him a kindred spirit, a soul that resonated with her own love for literature and the power of words to transport and transform. She felt a connection to him, a bond that deepened with each shared story, each quiet moment of companionship, each gentle touch that spoke volumes of their shared understanding. And as the days turned into weeks, their friendship blossomed, their connection a beacon of hope in the sterile confines of the shelter, their bond a testament to the enduring power of compassion and the transformative power of storytelling. The date circled in red on the notice pin to Oliver's cage loomed closer, a grim reminder of his uncertain fate. Emily, her heart aching with the knowledge of his impending euthanasia, felt a growing sense of despair. She couldn't bear the thought of this gentle creature, his spirit rekindled by their connection, being extinguished before his time. She had grown to love Oliver, his quiet wisdom and gentle presence a comforting anchor in her own life. She cherished their shared moments, the stories they had explored together, the bond they had forged in the sterile confines of the shelter. She couldn't imagine the shelter without him, the quiet corner where his cage stood now a constant reminder of his impending absence. She had to do something to find a way to save him, to defy the shelter's rules, to challenge the fate that awaited him. She decided to approach Sarah, the shelter manager, her heart pounding with a mix of apprehension and determination. She knew that Sarah, with her compassionate heart and dedication to animal welfare, would understand her plea, but she also knew the challenges the shelter faced, the limited resources, the overwhelming number of animals in their care. She found Sarah in her office, her brow furrowed with concern as she reviewed the shelter's adoption records, her face a reflection of the burden she carried, the responsibility for the lives entrusted to her care. Emily, her voice trembling with emotion, explained her connection to Oliver, the bond they had formed, the despair she felt at the thought of his impending euthanasia. She spoke of his gentle nature, his wisdom, his love for stories, his resilience in the face of loss and abandonment. She pleaded for his life, her words echoing Oliver's silent plea for a second chance, her voice carrying the weight of their shared connection. Their bond a testament to the enduring power of compassion and the transformative power of friendship. Sarah, her heart touched by Emily's heartfelt plea, listened intently, her eyes reflecting the empathy she felt for both the young woman and the elderly cat. She understood Emily's attachment to Oliver, her desire to save him from the shelter's grim reality. But she also knew the challenges they faced: the limited space, the dwindling resources, the growing number of animals in need of their care. She explained the difficult decisions they had to make, the heartbreaking choices that often accompanied their work, the responsibility they carried to ensure the well-being of all the animals in their care. She spoke of the other cats, the younger, healthier ones, their chances of adoption higher, their futures brighter. She explained that keeping Oliver would mean denying another cat a chance at a loving home, a decision that weighed heavily on her conscience. Emily, her hope dwindling, her eyes filled with tears, listened to Sarah's words, her heart aching with the understanding of the shelter's predicament. She knew that her plea was a long shot, a desperate attempt to defy the odds, to challenge the fate that awaited her beloved companion. But she also knew that she couldn't give up, that she had to fight for Oliver's life, that she had to find a way to save him from the darkness that threatened to consume him. And as she looked at Sarah, her eyes filled with a desperate plea, her voice trembling with emotion, she made a promise, a commitment that would change the course of their lives forever. "If you give Oliver a chance," she said, her voice firm despite the tears that streamed down her face, "I'll find him a home. I'll take him myself." She understood the young woman's attachment to Oliver, the bond they had formed, the desperation she felt at the thought of his impending euthanasia. She too had grown fond of the old cat. His quiet, the rusty purr that now vibrated through his aging body, a testament to the healing power of connection. But she also carried the weight of responsibility for all the animals in her care, her decisions guided by the shelter's limited resources and the need to prioritize those with the greatest chance of adoption. She thought of the other cats, the younger, healthier ones, their hopeful eyes peering from their cages, their futures uncertain, their lives dependent on the space and resources available. She couldn't deny Emily's plea, her selfless offer to take Oliver in, to provide him with a loving home in his twilight years. But she also couldn't ignore the practical realities of the situation, the potential consequences of her decision, the impact it might have on the other animals under her care. She looked at Emily, her young face etched with a mix of hope and desperation, her eyes pleading for a chance to save the cat that had touched her heart. She saw in Emily a reflection of her own younger self, her passion for animals, her unwavering belief in the power of compassion. She took a deep breath, her voice a gentle balance between empathy and responsibility. "Emily," she said, her words carefully chosen, "I understand your love for Oliver, and I admire your willingness to take him in, but I have to consider the needs of all the animals in our care." She explained the challenges they faced, the limited space, the dwindling resources, the heartbreaking reality of euthanasia for those deemed unadoptable. She spoke of the other cats, their hopeful eyes, their uncertain futures, their lives hanging in the balance. Emily, her heart sinking with each word, listened intently, her understanding of the shelter's predicament battling with her desire to save Oliver. She knew that her plea was a long shot, a desperate attempt to defy the odds, to challenge the fate that awaited her beloved companion. But she also knew that she couldn't give up, that she had to fight for Oliver's life, that she had to find a way to convince Sarah, to appeal to her compassion, to offer a solution that would honor both the needs of the shelter and the life of the elderly cat who had captured her heart. She spoke of her connection to Oliver, the bond they had formed, the stories they had shared, the spark of life she had witnessed rekindled in his eyes. She described his gentle nature, his quiet wisdom, his love for literature, his resilience in the face of loss and abandonment. She painted a picture of a peaceful life for Oliver in her care, a haven of warmth and companionship, a chance to live out his days surrounded by love and the simple joys of a loving home. She promised to provide for him, to care for him, to ensure his comfort and happiness in his twilight years. Sarah, her heart touched by Emily's passionate plea, her own love for animals resonating with the young woman's dedication, felt a wave of compassion wash over her. She saw in Emily a kindred spirit, a reflection of her own unwavering belief in the power of kindness and the importance of second chances. She looked at Emily, her eyes filled with a newfound resolve. "Emily," she said, her voice carrying a warmth that mirrored the hope blossoming within her. "I believe you. I'll give Oliver a chance." A wave of relief washed over Emily, her face lighting up with gratitude, her tears now a testament to the joy and hope that filled her heart. She thanked Sarah profusely, her words stumbling over each other in her eagerness to express her appreciation. Sarah, her own heart lighter, smiled warmly, her decision a testament to the enduring power of compassion and the belief in the transformative power of human connection. She knew that she had made the right choice, that Oliver deserved a chance at a happy ending, that Emily's love and dedication would provide him with the care and companionship he needed in his twilight years. And as Emily rushed out of the office, her footsteps echoing through the shelter, her heart filled with a newfound joy, the fate of Oliver, the elderly cat who had faced euthanasia in a shelter cage, took an unexpected turn, a turn that would leave everyone speechless and reaffirm the enduring power of love and compassion in a world often filled with hardship and despair. Emily's heart soared with a mix of joy and relief as she left Sarah's office. The weight of uncertainty lifted from her shoulders. She had fought for Oliver, her voice echoing his silent plea, her determination a testament to the bond they had forged. And she had won, her promise to provide him with a loving home securing his reprieve from the grim fate that had awaited him. She rushed to his cage, her footsteps a joyful rhythm against the tile floor, her heart pounding with anticipation. Oliver, sensing her excitement, lifted his head, his eyes meeting hers with a questioning curiosity, his purrs a soft rumble of anticipation. "Oliver," she whispered, her voice filled with a tender affection, "you're coming home with me, Oliver." His aged ears twitching, his whiskers trembling with a mix of surprise and delight, nuzzled her hand, his gesture a silent thank you, his trust in her unwavering. Emily carefully gathered him in her arms, his weight a comforting presence against her chest, his soft fur a reminder of the warmth and companionship he offered. She carried him out of the shelter, his eyes wide with wonder as he took in the sights and sounds of the world beyond the confines of his cage. The sun shone brightly, its warmth a welcome contrast to the sterile environment of the shelter. The birds chirped merrily, their songs a symphony of freedom and joy. The air was filled with the sense of freshly cut grass and blooming flowers, a fragrant reminder of the natural world that awaited him. Emily, her heart filled with a sense of purpose, carried Oliver towards her car, her footsteps light, her spirit soaring with the knowledge that she had made a difference, that she had saved a life, that she had honored the bond they had forged. She gently placed him in the passenger seat, his eyes wide with curiosity as he explored his new surroundings. She smiled at him, her voice filled with a gentle reassurance. "Don't worry, Oliver," she said, her words carrying a promise of love and care. "You're safe now. You're home, Oliver." His purrs a steady rumble of contentment, settled into the seat, his gaze fixed on Emily, his trust in her unwavering, his heart filled with a newfound hope. The drive to Emily's home was a journey of discovery for Oliver. He watched the passing scenery with wide eyes, the rolling hills, the quaint houses, the bustling town square, all a stark contrast to the sterile environment of the shelter. Emily, her voice a gentle guide, pointed out the landmarks, the familiar sights that marked their path, her words painting a picture of the community she loved, the place she called home. They reached her house, a cozy cottage nestled amidst a garden filled with colorful flowers, its welcoming porch a beacon of warmth and hospitality. Emily carried Oliver inside, his eyes adjusting to the dim light, his senses taking in the comforting sense of home-baked bread and freshly brewed coffee. She placed him on the sofa, its soft cushions a welcome contrast to the hard floor of his cage. He explored his new surroundings with a cautious curiosity, his paws treading softly on the plush carpet, his tail twitching with a newfound sense of freedom. Emily, her heart filled with joy, watched as he settled into his new home, his presence transforming the once quiet space into a haven of warmth and companionship. She prepared a soft bed for him near the fireplace, its crackling flames a comforting presence in the cool evening air. She filled his food and water bowls with fresh offerings, her touch gentle as she stroked his fur, her voice a soothing murmur as she whispered words of welcome and reassurance. And as the night settled over the small town, casting long shadows across the moonlit landscape, Emily and Oliver curled up together on the sofa, their bodies a comforting warmth against each other, their shared silence a symphony of contentment and the enduring power of connection. Oliver, his heart filled with gratitude for the young woman who had saved him from the shelter's shadow, purred contentedly, his rusty engine now a lullaby of love and belonging, his spirit rekindled by the warmth of human kindness and the promise of a peaceful life in his twilight years. Life in the cozy cottage unfolded with a gentle rhythm, a soothing balm to Oliver's weary soul. Emily, her heart filled with a newfound joy, embraced her role as Oliver's caretaker, her every action guided by a deep affection for the elderly cat who had captured her heart. She would wake each morning to the sound of his soft purrs, his presence a comforting warmth beside her in the bed. She would prepare his breakfast, tempting his finicky appetite with a variety of delicacies, her culinary skills now dedicated to pleasing the discerning palate of her feline companion. She would brush his fur, its once matted strands now soft and silky, her touch a gentle massage that soothed his aging muscles. She would talk to him, sharing stories of her day, her work at the library, her encounters with the townsfolk, her voice a soothing melody in the quiet cottage. Oliver, his spirit rejuvenated by the warmth and love that surrounded him, responded with a gentle affection that mirrored her own. He would follow her around the house, his presence a comforting shadow, his occasional meow a soft request for attention. He would bask in the sunbeams that streamed through the windows, his fur gleaming like burnished silver, his eyes half closed in contentment. He would curl up on her lap in the evenings, his purrs a rumbling symphony as she read aloud from her favorite books, their shared love for stories a bond that transcended the boundaries of species. Emily, her heart filled with gratitude for the unexpected gift of Oliver's companionship, cherished every moment with him. She would often find herself talking to him, sharing her thoughts, her dreams, her memories of a life that had been touched by both joy and sorrow. She would speak of her family, her friends, the challenges she had faced, the triumphs she had celebrated, her voice carrying a vulnerability that she had never before expressed. Oliver, his wise eyes reflecting the flickering firelight, would listen intently, his presence a silent comfort, his purrs a soothing balm to her soul. And as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, their bond deepened, their shared experiences weaving a tapestry of love, loyalty, and the enduring power of connection. They were two souls, brought together by fate, their friendship a testament to the healing power of companionship and the resilience of the spirit in the face of adversity. Oliver, his twilight years now bathed in the warmth of Emily's love, thrived in his new home, his once weary spirit rekindled by the simple joys of life, his heart filled with a gratitude that transcended the boundaries of language and species. He had found a haven of peace, a sanctuary where his soul could rest, his final days a testament to the enduring power of love and the transformative power of human connection. Time, the relentless tide, continued its ebb and flow, its rhythm a constant reminder of the impermanence of life. The seasons turned, painting the Vermont landscape in a vibrant tapestry of colors, the leaves of the maple trees transforming from lush green to fiery hues of red and gold, then falling to the ground, their brittle forms a reminder of the cycle of life and death. Oliver, his aged body now frail and weary, his once vibrant fur now a soft, silvery gray, basked in the warmth of Emily's love, his days filled with the simple pleasures of companionship and the quiet comforts of their shared home. He would spend his mornings curled up on the windowsill, watching the sunrise paint the sky in hues of pink and orange, his purrs a gentle symphony to the awakening day. He would follow Emily around the house, his footsteps a soft patter on the wooden floor, his presence a comforting shadow. He would nap in sunbeams, his old bones soaking in the warmth, his dreams a kaleidoscope of memories from a life well lived. He would greet Emily at the door each evening, his meows a soft welcome, his tail a gentle sway of affection. They would spend their evenings curled up together on the sofa, a book open in Emily's lap, her voice a soothing melody as she read aloud, his purrs a rhythmic accompaniment to the stories that filled their quiet evenings. Emily, her heart filled with a bittersweet mix of joy and sorrow, cherished every moment with Oliver, knowing that their time together was precious, a gift that had been unexpectedly bestowed upon her in the twilight of his years. She would often find herself gazing at him, her eyes tracing the contours of his aging face, the lines etched by time a testament to his resilience and the enduring power of their bond. She would marvel at the way he had touched her life, his presence a healing balm to her own wounds, his unconditional love a reminder of the beauty and fragility of life. One crisp autumn afternoon, as the leaves swirled outside the window, their vibrant colors a final farewell to the warmth of summer, Oliver, his breathing shallow and labored, his eyes clouded with a peaceful acceptance, curled up in Emily's lap, his purrs a faint rumble against her chest. Emily, her heart heavy with the knowledge of his impending departure, held him close, her tears falling softly onto his fur, her voice a whisper of love and gratitude. "Thank you, Oliver," she murmured, her words carrying a lifetime of affection and appreciation. "Thank you for finding your way back to me. Thank you for reminding me of the beauty of life and the enduring power of love." Oliver, his senses dimmed but his heart still strong, nuzzled her hand. His weak meow a final farewell, his gesture a testament to the bond they had shared, the connection that had defied time and circumstance. He closed his eyes, his breathing slowing, his body relaxing into a peaceful stillness, his spirit slipping away from its earthly confines, leaving behind a void that echoed through the quiet cottage. Emily, her heart shattered but her soul filled with gratitude, held his lifeless body close, her tears a testament to the profound love they had shared, her grief a reflection of the deep connection that had rekindled a part of her she thought had been lost forever. She remembered their childhood adventures, their laughter echoing through the woods, their bond a testament to the innocence and joy of youth. She recalled the day of the fire, the panic that had gripped her heart as she searched for him, the despair that had consumed her when she couldn't find him. And she cherished the miracle of their reunion, the unexpected twist of fate that had brought him back into her life, the healing they had found in each other's company, the love that had blossomed amidst the twilight of their years. She buried him beneath the old oak tree in her backyard, its branches reaching towards the sky, its leaves whispering secrets of love and loss. She placed a simple stone marker at his grave, its inscription a testament to his gentle spirit, his wisdom, and the enduring power of their bond. And as she stood there, the wind rustling through the leaves, the sun casting a golden glow on the fallen leaves, she felt a sense of peace settle over her, a quiet acceptance of life's inevitable cycle, a gratitude for the gift of Oliver's presence in her life. She knew that he would always be with her, his spirit a comforting presence, his memory a guiding light. She had found healing in their reunion, closure in his passing, and a renewed appreciation for the beauty and fragility of life. She returned to the shelter, her heart heavy but her spirit renewed, her dedication to the animals unwavering, her compassion a beacon of hope for the countless creatures that would continue to find refuge within its walls. And as she walked through the kennels, her gentle touch and soothing voice offering comfort to the anxious animals, she knew that Oliver's legacy would live on, his story a testament to the enduring power of love, the transformative power of connection, and the unwavering hope that could blossom even in the face of life's inevitable goodbyes.